to that shooting.
Police are giving an update about two shootings. Let's listen in.
There was a second, that was a primary shooting. That was the first shooting. A victim was also taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds, who remains in critical condition at this time. So what I can tell you about these shootings is that although they appear to be random, investigators are presently working on the reasoning as to why these two individuals were targeted. We're cautioning the community to please be cognizant of a particular vehicle, which I will give you information on shortly, and to provide that information with police whenever you see it or whenever they see it. One of the things I want to make clear is that additional resources have been put in the area, additional patrols are in the area, and that we are doing all we can to ensure that the community is safe and that this does not happen again. But we're asking for the community's help with identifying this particular vehicle and these particular people. Earlier this afternoon, we did receive information as to where the vehicle is, and we're in the process right now of investigating that vehicle. That being said, we're still asking for the public's assistance in finding that vehicle prior to the incident. In other words, anyone who has seen that vehicle, whether it be at a gas station or another location, please still contact us. It's very important information for our homicide team. Okay? So I'm just going to repeat some of the information that you have previously received, which is that the vehicle is a black Acura RDX with license plate number CVEN 900. Okay, and again, although we do believe we have this vehicle, we're in the process of investigating this vehicle. We are still asking for the public's assistance on it. Okay, again, I'm going to just reiterate that we are still very early stages of this investigation. I'll try to provide you with as much information as I can, but please understand that we do have our homicide and guns and gangs task force working on this presently.
So you said that the shootings, while they appear to be random, you're working on the reasons for these shootings. Can you clarify a little bit, because earlier today we heard that perhaps these shootings were random. Obviously the public gets very startled when you hear something like that.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit more information as to why, or if you think that this may not be?
Well, I can't say that it's not random at this point, but what I can tell you is that we are investigating as to why these particular individuals were shot, and but I'm not going to say it's not random at this point. Okay.
With regards to public safety, if there's a chance that it's random, I mean, there must be some sort of threat to public safety.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand that the community is going to be very, very concerned about this. We had two individuals shot in a similar location or close proximity to one another within 24 hours. So the message to the community is we are increasing patrols. We have drawn on other resources to give that particular area more resources. Earlier today, I spoke with the unit commander at 31 Division, and he wanted to pass on a message that he is cognizant of this and that he's doing everything he can within that division to ensure that the community is safe.
Now, there was a shooting from about a month ago. It was January 11th, 12th. Somebody was shot at a bus stop, and that night there was as many as 4 shootings in and around the area. Is there any connection you may know, and I know I'm just kind of putting it out there, is there any connection you may know between that and this?
At this point, I don't believe there is a connection, but as I said, this is still very early. This is all within the last 24 hours. So I don't have any information at this point to believe that there is a connection to that.
Inspector, I want to be crystal clear. So while you're saying you don't believe it's not random, but you're trying to find out why these two people were targeted. Does it look like these are two innocent people who are out at 2 different bus stops and someone happened to drive by looking for trouble and opened fire on 2 people who absolutely had nothing to do with any kind of criminality at all?
Yeah. No, I understand the question, and thank you for that question. The reason I'm saying at this point I can't say it's not random is for that exact reason. But what I'm trying to get across is that we are investigating this. It's not a normal thing to just shoot somebody who's standing at a bus stop. So this is hallmarks of gang activity. But I'm not going to say at this point that we can confirm it's gang activity. We are investigating to see if that is actually what it is, or if this is something that we need to be more concerned about with respect to community relations.
When it comes to hallmarks of gang activity, have you identified that either of the 2 victims have connections to gangs or crime in that area?
I do not have that information. I have no knowledge of that. just on the face of it, we're trying to see exactly what happened. We do have lots of resources pointed towards this. We do have our homicide unit as well as our Guns and Gangs Task Force working on it, and we have increased patrols in the area as well as brought in other resources into the area for community safety. So I don't want to mislead anybody and say that it is completely ruled out that it's random, but it does have hallmarks of gang activity.
When you talk about the vehicle, initially we heard from the duty inspector at the scene yesterday that it was a stolen vehicle. Can you talk about where this vehicle was stolen from and maybe where police are aware of its, is it still in North York that police are now aware this Acura is?
I can't give that information right now because we're actually at this moment in the process of investigating the vehicle.
Was it recently stolen?
I don't have that information as to when it was stolen.
You've linked the same vehicle to both shootings. Is it the same suspected weapon used in both shootings too, in terms of caliber of gun, handgun?
Again, it's still very early in the investigation. The investigators are working on that, and I'm certain they have that information. At this point, I'm not able to give you that information.
And do we have anything more on the victim of the homicide? Because we just know he's a man. Do we have an approximate age? Have officers been able to identify him and speak with his family at this point?
At this point, we have not notified next of kin, so I will not be speaking to the identity of that person. Okay.
I guess, what is your message to those people in the community? Because we spoke to them today, many of them were at that bus stop looking to take it, and they thought twice. They went down the street, they went to other locations. They say they're living in a sense of fear, but also it's commonplace, right, in their neighborhood. What's your message to those people?
Well, my message to those people are we understand, and we understand what they're going through, and we're doing all we can to keep them safe. As I said, we have reallocated some resources to assist with the community safety in 31 Division. Prior to coming up here, I spoke with the unit commander of 31. He assures me that he's doing all he can to apply the resources available to him to keep the community safe. And he urges anybody in the community to reach out to 31 Division with any information or concerns that they have with really any kind of criminality.
One more question. When you talk about the extra resources, Inspector, is it just boosted foot patrols as kind of an act of deterrence that are now in that area to keep people safe?
Yes, there's going to be high visibility with regards to foot patrol and other resources as well.
Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you.
Okay, Eden, so you were just listening live to Inspector Peter Webby giving us an update here at Toronto Police Headquarters about these back-to-back shootings that happened in the Jane and Driftwood area Friday and Saturday. Of course, yesterday's was in fact a homicide where a man who was waiting at a bus stop, we were told at the scene, was shot 3 times in the stomach and in the chest area as well. He was taken to hospital with critical injuries, and he died from his injuries in hospital. You heard the inspector there as well say at this point police have not been able to speak with his family, and so that's why investigators are not releasing any more information about this homicide victim. And then when it comes to Friday's shooting, a 16-year-old boy, we were told, was shot squarely 1 round in the face. He was taken to hospital in critical condition. It sounds like he's still in pretty bad shape in hospital, but we were told earlier that his condition has stabilized. Police say they do have the vehicle that they have linked to both of these shootings now let's say, in their care, although the inspector would not elaborate where that is. At this point, we know it's a stolen vehicle, an Acura RDX, license plate CVEN 900. So police are right now with that vehicle gathering evidence. That vehicle will then be towed to forensics for further examination as well at the car to, of course, get things like fingerprints and anything else that can help police in their investigation and lead them to the suspect in question. When it comes to the shooting, the inspector could not say that he could not rule out that this was a random shooting in both of these scenarios. Though what I took away from that press conference, and perhaps one of the biggest points that he made, is that this has all the hallmarks of gang activity. And so police are asking people in that area to be extra vigilant. They understand that there's a heightened sense of stress and anxiety in that area. And so in 31 Division, around Jane and Driftwood particularly, police saying they've boosted patrols, they've boosted a presence to help keep that community safe and to be there to answer questions from community members as well. Edith.
Beatrice Faisman, a lot of information in that update, but still a long way to go clearly in their investigation. Thank you.